Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating this quiz website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. In the previous video, we started with the functionality of our quiz website and we added the functionality of this next button. So when we click on this next button, we go to the next question, and after 5 questions, we are displayed this result screen. And now in this video, let's continue with the functionality. So let's get started. Now the first thing we will do in this video is that we will add this question number over here. So here we can see that when we click on the next button, we have the second question displayed over here. So we have 5 questions in total, and this is the second question. So first of all, let's add this. So let's go back to our code, and here we can see that we have created a function for creating the question. So here we can see we have the function, and this is the function code. Now here in the question, we are just adding the question from this quiz data. So let's also add the question number over here. So I'll just go ahead and add all of this inside backticks, and I'll just add this inside $symbol curly braces. Now here we can add our question number. So here before the question, let's create a span, and let's also give it a class, and let's give it a class of question number, and let's close the span over here. And here in this span, let's add the question number. So let's type $symbol curly braces, and here let's type question number. So here we can see we have this variable called question number, and it starts from 0, and every time we click on the next button, it increments by 1. Now we want the question number to start from 1, so here let's type +1, and then if you go back, here we can see that we also have this max questions over here. So further, let's go back, and here after this, let's add /, and let's type $symbol curly braces, and here let's add the max questions. So we have this const called max questions, so I'll just add it over here. Right now, let's style this real quick. So let's go to our style.css file, and here let's type question number, and let's set the font size to 16 pixels, and we'll set a margin right, and let's set it to 16 pixels as well. And now let's add a background color, and let's set the background color to 1D3557. And let's set the color of the text to white, and we'll set a padding of 8 pixels, and let's also set a border radius of 8 pixels. And this is how it looks. Right now, the next thing we will do is we will add the functionality of checking the answer. So if you go to the original website, and if I click on one of these answers, we can see that we have this green background color when the option is correct. And if I click on the wrong answer, here we can see we have this red background color. And if we go back to our CSS file, here we can see that we have already added this class. So here we can see for the incorrect option, we have this background color, and we have this incorrect class. And for the correct answer, we have this correct class, and we have this background color. So we will add one of these classes when the user clicks on the option. So let's go back to our JavaScript file, and here we can see that we are looping through all the options, and here let's also add an event listener to the option. So here let's type option.add event listener, and let's listen for the click event, and let's create an arrow function. Now for checking the answer, we'll create a function, and we'll just call it check answer. And we'll also pass the data to this check answer. So here I'll just call it E, and let's pass the data over here. Right now, let's create this function called check answer. So here let's create the function called check answer, and here we are getting the data. So I'll just call it E. And here, first of all, let's store the user answer. So let's tap let, and let's create a variable called user answer, and let's set it equal to e.target.text content. Now what this will do is it will get the content of the option that we click. So if I click on this Jupiter, then it will send this text Jupiter to this user answer variable. So let's go ahead and console.log, and let's confirm whether it is working. So let's type user answer, And let's go back over here and let's open the console. And now let's click on Tokyo, and here we can see Tokyo is being displayed. If I click on Bangkok, we have Bangkok displayed over here. So whichever option we click will be stored inside the user answer variable. So let's go back and I'll just delete this console.log. Right now let's add an if condition and let's check whether the user answer is the same as the correct answer that we have inside this quiz data array. So let's type user answer equals quiz data, and we are updating the question number in this question number variable. So let's type question number, and in that we have this key called correct. So let's type dot correct, and if the answer is correct, then we need to increase the score by 1. So let's create a variable called score, and by default we'll set it to 0. And here let's type score plus plus, so we will increase the score by 1. And we also want to add this class called correct to the option so that we have this background color. So let's type e.target.classlist.add correct. Right now let's add an else, and if the answer is wrong, then we will need to add a class called incorrect. So I'll just copy this line of code and let's paste it over here, and here let's type incorrect because we have this class called incorrect. Right, once we have clicked on one of these options, we want all the other options to be disabled. So right now if I just click on one of these options, we can see that it is wrong, but we are able to click on the other options, and this should not happen. Once we have clicked on one of these options, all the options should be disabled. So if we go back over here to the style.css file, here we can see we have added a class called disabled, and when we have that class, the pointer events are set to none. So here after this, let's select all the options. I'll just create a variable called all options, and let's set it equal to document.querySelector all, and here let's type quiz container, and in that we have this button with the class of option. So here let's type option. Now this will select all the options and add it inside this all options variable. Now let's loop through all the options. So let's type all options dot for each, and for each of the option I'll just call it O, and let's create an arrow function, and here let's type o.classlist.add, and we will add a class called disabled. Right now let's go back to our quiz website, and if I click on one of these options, now the other options and all these options are disabled, and we also have the correct color displayed. So now if we click on the correct answer, we can see that we have the correct color and all the other options are disabled. Right now let's write the code for displaying the answers at the end. So here we can see after we go to the end of our quiz, here we can see that all the answers are displayed, and if the user had answered it incorrectly, then we have this red background color, and the correct answer is also displayed over here, and we also have the score displayed over here. So let's add this functionality. So let's go back, and here we can see that we have already created this function called display quiz result, and right now it is just displaying this static design that we just created. So now if we click on this next button, here we can see that we have this result screen displayed over here. Now we need to display the correct data over here. So for that, let's go back over here, and here let's start writing the code for the display quiz result function. The first thing we will do is we will remove all the HTML from the quiz result. So let's type quiz result dot inner HTML equals blank. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to create this heading. So let's create a constant, and I'll just name it result heading, and let's set it equal to document.createElement, and we need to create an h2, and then let's type result heading dot inner HTML, and we'll set it equal to you have scored, and here we need to display the score. So let's type $symbol curly braces, and here let's type score, and then let's type out of, and here we need to add the maximum questions. So let's type max questions, and let's add a full stop, Right now, the next thing we need to do is we need to add this result heading inside this quiz result. So let's type quiz result dot append child, and here let's type result heading. Right now, let's see whether the score is being displayed. So let's go back to our quiz and let's select one of these options. So this is the wrong answer, so let's click on next. And now this is the correct answer, so we have scored 1. So let's click on next and let's select the correct answer. So right now the score is 2, and right now the score is 3, and let's select the wrong answer. And now our score is 3 out of 5, so let's click on next. And now we can see it says you have scored 3 out of 5. Let's try it once more. Let's select all the wrong answers. And now we can see it says you have scored 0 out of 5. So the score is working alright. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to display all the user answer and the correct answer at the end. So for that we need to store these answers somewhere. So we'll just store the answers inside the local storage of the browser. So for that, let's go back to our code, and here when we call this function called check answer, we'll also store the answer to the local storage. So here after this if condition, let's go ahead and type local storage dot set item, and here let's add backticks, and let's type user answer underscore, and here we will add the question number. So let's type dollar symbol, curly braces, question number, and then for the value let's type user answer. So we are getting the user answer over here, and we are storing it to a local storage key called user answer underscore the question number. So this will go from 0 through 4. Right now let's check and see whether the local storage is being added. So let's open the console, and let's go over here to application, and let's go to the local storage. And right now we don't have the question number stored, so let's select one of these answers, and now we can see that user answer 0 is set to Tokyo. Let's click on next, and now if we select, for example, William Shakespeare, we can see that user answer 1 is set to William Shakespeare. And now if we select Mercury, user answer 2 is set to Mercury. So everything is working alright. Now we can just go ahead and reference these values and display it at the end. So let's go back and let's go to the display quiz result function. Let's create a for loop, and let's loop from 0 to max questions, and we'll just increment it by 1. Now this loop will start from 0 and go to 4. Right now let's go back to the index.html file, and let's see how the HTML is structured. So here we can see we have this division with the class of question container, and we also have this class called incorrect if the answer of the user is incorrect. And in this question container division we have the question, we have the user answer which we'll get from the local storage, and the correct answer which we'll get from the quiz data array. So let's create this division with a class of question container. So I'll just call it result item, and let's set it to document.create element, and let's create a div, and let's give it a class. So let's type result item dot class list dot add, and let's add a class called question container, and in that we need to have the question, user answer, and the correct answer. So I'll just copy this HTML from here, and we'll just add it to this result item. So let's type result item dot inner HTML, and let's set it equal to backticks, and here we will add the HTML. Now here instead of this text, let's add the actual question. So first of all let's type question, and here let's add the question number. So let's type dollar symbol, curly braces, and here we can see that we have this iterator I, and it starts from 0. So I'll just type I plus 1. So this will give us the question number, and then let's add the colon, and let's add the actual question. So let's type dollar symbol, curly braces, and here let's type quiz data, and here in the index we need to add I. because I starts from 0 to the max questions. And then let's tab dot question. And then we need to add the user answer. So for that, I'll just create a variable over here. So I'll just type const user answer, and I'll just set it to local storage dot get item, and we had called it user answer underscore the question number. So here let's type backticks user answer underscore dollar symbol curly braces, and here for the question number we can just add I, and for the correct answer let's type const correct answer, and let's set it equal to quiz data I dot correct. And if the answer is incorrect, we also need to add this class of incorrect. So for that, let's check whether the answer is incorrect. So here I'll just type let answered correctly, and I will just set it equal to user answer equals correct answer. So now if the user answer and the correct answer are same, then this will be set to true, or else it will be set to false. So here let's type if exclamation answered correctly. So this will see if the answer is incorrect, and here we will add the incorrect class to result item. So let's type result item dot class list dot add incorrect. Right now here let's add your answer. So here let's type dollar symbol curly braces user answer, and for the correct answer let's type dollar symbol curly braces correct answer. Now if you don't answer one of the questions, then the user answer will be blank. So let's open the console, and let's go to application, and let's go to local storage, and for now I'll just delete all of these values. Right now let's go ahead and select one of these, and we have the user answer 0 set to Tokyo. But if we just skip one of these questions, then the answers are not stored over here. So if the answer is not available, then we'll just display not answered. So here let's add an or, and let's type not answered. Right now the last thing we need to do is we need to add the result item to the quiz result. So here we can see that we have already referenced quiz result. So here let's type quiz result dot append child, and here let's add result item. Right now let's see whether this works. Now we already have this local storage added, so let's go ahead and reset the local storage. So for that we'll just create a function. So here let's create a function, and let's call it reset local storage. And here let's add a for loop. So I'll just loop from 0 to max questions, and we will have an increment of 1. And here let's type local storage dot remove item, and here let's add backticks user answer underscore dollar symbol curly braces I. Right now let's call this reset local storage function over here. Right now let's go back, and now we can see we don't have any data in local storage. Now let's click on one of these options, and let's go ahead and solve this quiz. And now we can see that we have the result screen displayed over here. We have scored 2 out of 5, and these are the questions. So we have the first question and the answer that we submitted and the correct answer, and then we have the correct answer over here which we submitted, and here are the wrong answers and the correct answer. So all the data is being displayed correctly. Now we also want to display the retake quiz button. So here we can see we have this button called retake quiz. So let's do that. Let's go back to our code, and here we have the display quiz result function, and here at the end let's go outside this for loop, and here let's type const, and let's call it retake btn equals document dot create element, and let's create a button, and we also need to give it a class. So let's type retake btn dot class list dot add. Let's add a class of retake btn, and let's type retake btn dot inner html, and we need to set it to retake quiz. And then we also need to add an event listener to the button. So let's type retake btn dot add event listener, and we'll listen for the click event, and we'll call a function called retake quiz. And we also need to add this to the quiz result. So let's type quiz result dot append child retake button. Right now, let's quickly create this retake quiz function. So here let's type const retake quiz. And here the first thing we need to do is we need to set the question number to 0. And we need to set the score to 0 as well. And then we need to set the quiz data to a shuffled data. So let's type equals shuffle array quiz data, because here we can see we have already created this function called shuffle array. And the next thing we need to do is we need to reset the local storage. So let's type reset local storage. And then we need to call this function called create question. Now in this function we are creating the HTML for the questions. So let's type create question. And we need to hide this result screen, and we need to display the quiz screen. So let's type quiz result dot style dot display equals none. And then for the quiz screen we have this class called quiz container. So let's type quiz container dot style dot display equals block. Right now let's go back and let's see whether everything works alright. So let's click on one of these options. And here we can see we have scored 2 out of 5, and here we have all the questions and the user answer and the correct answer. Right now let's click on this retake quiz button, and now we can see all the local storage data has disappeared and we have new set of questions. And now we can see we have scored 2 out of 5, and here we have the new questions displayed. So everything is working alright. Now the last thing we need to do is add the timer to our quiz. So here we have the timer, and we will have 10 seconds for each of the questions. So we will do that in the next video. So that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.